That's a game changer.
Yep. All right, guys, we've got Coach Drinkwitz in here. Let me mute this other line real quick. We got Coach Drinkwitz in here. We just finished up the first practice of the week, so we'll start with an opening statement from him, and as always, we'll open it up to questions, and don't forget to raise your hand. So with that, we'll let Coach get started.
Yeah, I got some good situational work today. End the game, open field, put the ball down and played it at the end of practice, and then finished up with a couple of last plays of the game. It was good to get some guys' experience, let people see how they react in those situations and grow and learn from it. We were down some guys today. We got 4 positive COVIDs, and we're down 14 players, whether it's contact tracing or waiting results back. So that's the update on COVID. And with that, I'll open up for questions.
All right, guys, get your hands raised, and we'll go ahead and get you guys in the queue. So first one comes from Andrew Kaufman. Andrew, go ahead.
How's it going, Coach?
Good.
2 weeks ago, you said that, these 2 weeks would be incredibly important for you guys to play football. How do you think those 2 weeks went, and do you have any better idea now of how things are?
Well, this is the most number we've had out from COVID related issues, so that's not ideal. We anticipated this would be the case with students back on campus and just kind of the way this thing is operating. I think our guys are still trying to do a really good job of practicing safe social distancing and trying to do the very best they can. Not to catch it or spread it, but we have a lot of guys that live together, and anytime one of them gets it, then the rest of them are going to be quarantined. And so, that's kind of the case right now. I mean, overall, Boone County, I don't know what today's was, but I saw Saturday we had 221 or something, which was the highest one-day total ever. So, we've all got to do our part, and I think. I saw before I went out to practice, we have a new mask ordinance for campus, and trying to do everything we possibly can. The good news for us is that our hospital has plenty of space and people are recovering, but we got to prevent the transmission.
Max, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, I was just wondering off of that, is there any level of concern about the guys who played Saturday, and is that where those 14 came from, or is that not, is there any level of concern about like the players playing in that scrimmage on Saturday and whether or not they were there positive at the time?
No, I mean, not really. Yeah, I mean, we haven't had any cases of local transmission within our building that we can trace it back to. Now, I mean, I don't know that you're ever going to be 100% on where somebody catches this thing just because of the nature of it. But no, we're not concerned about Saturday. Today's Tuesday. When you find a positive, contact trace back's 48 hours. So, and we've done all the contact tracing through our local county health department, and we feel good. But we do have some guys who are quarantined from it. Yes.
Dave, go ahead.
Eli, after Saturday, you were talking about the offensive line, how it had been kind of hit with some injuries and COVID stuff since you guys started practice. After watching film and considering guys had been out, what do you think of how that group is coming together?
Yeah, I mean, we're really solid on the right side with Larry and Case and Michael Mayetti at center. It's just the left side has just had a lot of different, pieces with it, with Hiron's injury, with, Zeke being in and out with some nagging injuries. Bobby Lawrence has taken quite a few reps at left tackle, and then the left guard position. Xavier Delgado's really been the guy, but things have kept him from being consistently in that position, and so there's other guys that are needing to step up, and we're still trying to figure out who that group of 5 is going to be.
Peter, go ahead.
Yeah, Eli, I was just kind of wondering, what do you kind of look for in a return man, and who are you kind of looking at as potentially guys who could return kickoffs and punts?
Well, I think first you got to have courage. You got to have courage to track the football and make sure you're willing to catch it. 2's ball security, and 3's vision. We've been working a lot of different guys back there. I know Coach Link's been working a lot of guys. Are you kickoff return or punt return?
Either or both, I guess.
Okay, well, kickoff return, I've seen Tyler Bailey, Larry Roundtree, Jalen Knox, Dom Jacinto back there. I think Elijah, when he gets fully healthy, will be back there on punt return. We've had Jarvis Ware back there a little bit. We've had Boo back there a little bit. We've had Chris Abrams-Rain back there a little bit. But we'll start, really condensing and honing that in, this week and next to figure out exactly who that's going to be.
Thanks.
Mitch, go ahead.
Sorry about that. Hey, Eli, my question similar to Dave's, I guess. But you talked about the offensive line having to kind of cast die to see who's going to be in there in any given day. Is that a position where because there's so many inexperienced guys, it can be beneficial in a sense to give a lot of different guys chances with the first team, or is that a group where you really want to try to get your first team set so they can build chemistry?
Yeah, I think you want to get your first team set and build chemistry. I mean, if we were in spring practice, I'd say, yeah, it's a great thing you're getting. But 2.5 weeks out for our first game, we'd like to know those 5 guys being able to work together, communicate, understanding who, how they work together and the way they work their combinations together and all that. So it's less than ideal.
Eric, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, just coming off when you have that many positive COVID tests, is this kind of a nice kind of trial run, do you think, for the season when these things can come up during a game week, or do you take this as kind of a test run for that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a test run. I think every time you, no pun intended, every time you test, you're going to have to deal with the results. I think we've been kind of handling it. This is the most we've had out of practice. After the 4th of July, we had probably 22 in quarantine off of maybe 4 positives or something like that. So it all really depends on roommates, contact tracing, who has to be quarantined based off of maybe who's had it previously. The interesting thing is just trying to figure out really how many guys on your team are potential quarantine or COVID exposures, based off CDC guidelines. If you've previously been positive, you have 90 days of basically immunity from the virus. And so, right now we've got probably 100 guys on our team that could be quarantined or contact traced. And, that puts you at that risk anytime one of these things spike.
Gabe, go ahead.
Yeah, Eli, I'm going to ask a 2-part question so I don't get in trouble for asking 2 separate questions.
Okay.
Akil Byers has been a guy that's moved inside and out. First of all, where do you like him, and where have you been working him this fall? And also, I know you weren't obviously in Arkansas when he was playing in high school, but just knowing guys there, did you know much about him coming out of high school?
Yeah, I'll answer both parts. I think his versatility and ability to play, whether it's an edge guy or play inside at the nose position, helps us defensively. We like to move and stunt, and then, in our 4-down stuff, he's got the ability to anchor a 3 technique to play a shade. So his versatility is probably what makes him such a dynamic player. Absolutely, I keep track of the recruits that come out of that state, and knew his head coach, Daryl Patton, really well. So knew about Akil and knew he was a tremendous player. And you're always looking for great defensive linemen. I think when he was coming out, I was just now getting to NC State, and so didn't have the headway to get in there and get him. But boy, sure would have liked to.
Max, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, I guess a position we don't really know too much about is kicker or punter. Has anyone really emerged for those jobs? I know you're not naming starters for the quarterback. I don't know if you're naming starters for that, but what have you liked from that position?
Yeah, we'll name starters. We've had a pretty good competition for the punt position. Grant has come in and done a nice job, and A-Rod's done a nice job, still working to figure out who that's going to be. And we want to make sure everybody gets an equal opportunity to that. And so we just don't want somebody who's out for, a couple of days or something because of whatever it might be to not be able to compete for that job. So we still got a little bit before we have to decide on that. The kicking position, same kind of thing. Sorry.
Dave, go ahead.
One last O-line question, just on Hiron's injury. Is that a long-term thing with shoulders? He could be back sooner than later.
Well, yeah, we're still trying to figure that out. Hopefully we'll have some information here in the next couple of weeks, but yeah, I mean, he's not going to be back by the scrimmage Saturday.
Okay.
Peter, go ahead.
Yeah, Eli, I was just wondering what do you think the ceiling is for the safety duo of Tyree Gillespie and Josh Bledsoe?
I have no idea. I guess high.
Okay.
Suichi, go ahead.
Hey Eli, I was curious, just with the schedule and everything, you have a little bit more off days in a typical year. I was just curious, do guys seem a little fresher? Are you kind of able to get more out of each individual practice just because there's no like burnout or anything?
I don't know. You know, football is one of those games that you like. It requires some consistency. Requires some consistency. And I don't necessarily like, you know, the fact that we practice Saturday and we don't get to go again until Tuesday, and we got to take a Thursday off. And, you know, we only had 25 days of practice over, I think, a 41 or 42 day period. So it's unlike any fall camp. Normally over 29 days, you get 25 practices. And so you get that routine, you get to string good days together. And so this is unique. It's unique for everybody. You know, nobody's ever prepared like this before. But I think there's some frustration in the fact that you can't go out there and string good days together, and you watch practice like, you know, 3 or 4 days ago, and then you're coming back to correct it on Tuesday. And, you know, are you moving on? Are you working on those same things? So it's interesting for sure.
All right. Well, I don't see any more hands raised, so we'll let Coach go with that one. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
I sent you